Hi guys, my name is Erica Marie and I am known as the Chakra Analyzer. So today is Wednesday, February 20th, 2019, and I decided to create a video for my fellow lightworkers, okay? I just wanted to offer some words of encouragement to those lightworkers that are in the process of waking up right now and the ones that are still navigating through to their ascension, their full ascension, okay? Lightworkers have a very, very tough mission here, okay? So in my video a couple days ago, I talked about the overall arching theme of why lightworkers are here, and that is to help humanity ascend out of this false 3D matrix. This false 3D matrix has hijacked God's 3D, and it hijacked it, and it is how they're hijacking it is by manipulating the energies, making us all of humanity and the planet live in the masculine shadow side energy. And I said in my prior video, what does that look like? You can think of narcissism, greed, anything that you can think of this false 3D matrix, all the bad, all the corrupt, okay? So us lightworkers, we chose to be born here during this time to come here and I guess, it's the word that I'm looking for. We're almost like undercover agents, okay? So we are born here and we are born into God's 3D world here that God created for us, but please know that there's a program that's that's hijacked God's world. And how I'll explain this is, think of a computer, okay? So God created this. There's God has the control panel of the computer. God has made sure, his design is running smoothly, and it's for, souls to come here and learn lessons and have free will and, whatever that soul has to experiment or experience in order to grow. But please know that a virus, a program has come in, and you can call it the devil or the bad or whatever you want to call it, has come in and hijacked the computer. So when you get a computer virus, depending on what virus is, sometimes your computer, your keyboard can't work, or you can't open up certain documents, and it starts eating away at your photos, and you start panicking. So then you take your computer to an IT person or the Geek Squad at Best Buy. They love me there. So we take our computer to get that health checkup and get rid of the virus for me. Okay. Well, these IT specialists, they have to know, they have to go through, and they have to see where this virus came from, or how to get rid of it. And they have to navigate all the way through, all the way to the end, right, to find out what's happening. And this is just like for in the healthcare system. Let's say there's a virus going around and it's making people sick, right? Well, scientists and healthcare professionals and doctors, they want to find out where this virus has come from. They want to navigate all the way to the very root of what's going on in order to make a counter, to make a cure to counteract the virus, to get rid of it, right? So I'm explaining this to light workers because you have to navigate through this virus, this programming. And what I mean by that is you have to navigate all the way to the bottom. It's almost like what you would call, you have to navigate through all the way to rock bottom to see how this program is designed and structured. And that ends up being, and can be, a very dark and lonely journey to the bottom, to rock bottom, right? And once you hit rock bottom, that's when you see the light and realize that you are a light worker, and that you shine your light so bright and it is so powerful and you understand how all this is designed. Now, because you have an understanding, now you can help others out of the darkness, okay? But what I always say is you cannot help somebody fully unless you've been there and experienced it, right? You have to have that empathy. You have to have that understanding of what someone's going through in order to help them. And what I mean by helping is you can help guide them out of the darkness. I do always stress that we are all here to do our own work, but we can help others, just not enable them, right? Because if we enable them, then they never see the light. Everybody, all souls that came here and that are light workers have a contract with God. They have to experience certain things. So we always have to use our discernment when we are helping, because we don't want to be enablers. And sometimes people have to experience what they experience because that's what they agreed to before when they came here too. So that's another thing I just like to point out, because light workers, we all have the biggest hearts. And of course, that seems, I guess, foreign to a false 3D matrix program. And, that's why I say when I was growing up as a child, light workers see the injustice of this false 3D matrix, this virus program. They see the injustice right away. And unfortunately, because many children don't have that, protection, the guidance about, being spiritually protected to protect themselves, children end up getting hijacked, and having the program, the computer, the virus, the programming begins to take over, and starts at a very young age. And it usually happens around the age when children do enter into the education system. That's another thing that I want to talk about. So because God's earth or 3D has been hijacked by what I call the false 3D time matrix, it's a virus programming. Know that, so you have the virus, and then there's like layers and layers and layers to this virus. So all the sub-viruses that are going on, so you can look at the structure of this is, we have an education system, we have a court system, we have a healthcare system, we have all these systems. So light workers, we're here to navigate through the systems that are all part of the matrix, this false matrix. We have to navigate through them in order to see how corrupt they really are. And many light workers that are part of, I always want to say like the first wave, or I don't know how many waves there's been, but part of the first original light workers that were born, I want to say, I want to reference back to maybe around the 1970s. There was a lady who worked in, the healthcare field, and she could see aura. And she said that the children being born have a indigo color around them. And that was how we referenced the term, because we always like to put labels on things here in 3D, indigo children. And indigo children are light workers, okay? So sometimes I use these words interchangeably. Some people will say, no, that's not true. They have different meaning. I don't know. I always say what resonates with myself. So I was part of that indigo wave, born in the 1970s. So indigo children, or indigo light workers, we all have that common theme. We're here to help raise humanity out of the false matrix. But another reason why indigos were brought in this first wave is indigos are here to take down the corrupt establishments that have been, that's part of the false 3D matrix virus that has been running the programs that have been running within the virus. So we're here to take down the corrupt establishments. And what does that look like here in the 3D? You got the court system, okay? criminal and civil, how it's divided up. We have the education system. We have the healthcare system. We know that healthcare, it's not really about being healthy. It's actually sick care. We can see once we navigate through these, these establishments, we can see the corruption within them. And it's kind of like, we have this false mask or this falseness about it, saying, oh, well, it's for us to make sure that we're healthy, or the court system, justice for all, and then of course the education system. Well, children need to be in school. They need to learn. They need to be like sheep. It's all control. And another part of the corruption as well is religion. So I always say that the term religion came in and hijacked spirituality, and then took pieces of spirituality and then decided to call it religion, and then they throw it into these subcategories, distorting the real truth and distorting it and making us separate to believe that it's this or it's that or it's this. So everything here has been hijacked. It's been distorted. The line of communication to God, our energy is being manipulated. So our aura around us, when the energies are manipulating, it distorts that connection up to 5D. Okay, and that's where like I said, where love and light is, and where we receive our guidance, our soul guidance. So getting back to the indigos, so part of the first wave, we were here to take down the corrupt establishments. So we had to navigate through very dark stuff, right? A lot of light workers, after waking up, 7 years ago and navigating through all this darkness, I found other, light workers, fellow light workers on my path, and many had been stuck in, I want to call it cycles, these obstacles that they can't get out of, because when we're born here, our light shines so bright that the bad know who we, like the devil or bad, they know who we are, because they're manipulated. So the energy is being manipulated. So when we come in and we're born here, our energy and our light shines so bright, it actually causes like a ripple in this virus, the programming. So we get identified usually immediately. So the devil, the bad, or whatever you want to call it, tend to put handlers on us and try to suppress our light so we can't shine it, and try to keep us so stuck, right? And how they keep us stuck is by throwing handlers on us, throwing these corrupt establishments on us, or making us have to navigate through like a blind mice navigating through. So I found a lot of light workers within the court system. A lot of them are, a lot of light workers I know had been, in prison or locked up, and not necessarily for, I don't even want to say for bad crimes, but they just ended up, making wrong choices and being guided by, bad influences or whatever. So they end up finding themselves in this, court system. And then, every little thing that you can think of once you get sucked in happened to them. But it had to happen for them to see how it's all structured, and all the manipulation that happens, right? So that was part of their soul contract. They had to go through and they had to learn that, and that was their experience that they had to learn. So I just want everyone to know, who are fellow light workers, that if you meet somebody, and they had been in prison, or if you meet somebody and they've been, homeless, or, and that's another system is foster care, and courts, that is part of the court system, but, a lot of light workers, had to be in foster care and in and out, and had to, end up being homeless at some points in their life. It's because that's what their soul had to learn in order to navigate through that dark side, that corruption, part of that computer programming. Okay. So we all have our own kind of soul contract where we have to navigate through certain corrupt establishments in order to see the darkness of it. In the first wave, we are here to take down these corrupt establishments. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. So those are for, this message is more for light workers that already know their light work and already are resonating with me and understanding that, yeah, the first wave here, we are to take down the corrupt establishment. And then children that were born, or individuals that were born around the 90s. I have a daughter that was born in 1999. They are part of the crystal children. Okay. So what that looks like is crystal children are born here to rebuild what the indigo children are taking down. We're taking down the corrupt establishments now. And the crystal children are here, and their part of their mission is to rebuild and have everything rebuilt from the heart center, where God intended everything to be, and live in the heart center. So we also have children that are being born now, and I have younger children as well, and they are what we call the rainbow children, and we call these rainbow children. I call them. I'm creating my children's story right now. I call them chakra children, and the reason why I call them my chakra children is because these children are born drawing rainbows. Okay, think about it. You give children a piece of paper, you give them the crayons, it's the color of the rainbow, right? And we say, here you go, draw a picture. You always draw a rainbow and the sun and a tree, you know. And the reason why they draw the rainbow is because these children are rainbow children, and they are here to continue what the crystal children set in place. So they are here to continue those establishments through using their heart center. And another thing about the rainbow that I want to talk about, and I kind of mentioned this as well because I'm a chakra analyzer. I have named myself that because that is what my more narrow focus, my soul mission is about. And I help people. I help guide them to open up their chakras so they're open to their perfect healthy state in order to be in a perfect alignment within their 3D, 4D, and their 5D. And this is so that they can receive the guidance from God. But like I said, with the energy manipulation and the manipulation of the planet, and not only the planet, but ourselves, we can be hijacked, okay? And that's why we have to recognize this, understand this, and once we realize and we can see past the veil, we have to practice each day to make sure that we stay spiritually sound. And our shield, our aura is our shield, it's our protection to the 5D, to our communication with God. And I had mentioned in my last video a couple days ago that Jesus is who we follow out of the false matrix, and this is true. So Jesus is the rainbow bridge. So I just said rainbow. There is an aura around us, and it's the color of the rainbow. The chakra points are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and then light purple or white. So Jesus, the story of Jesus, like I said earlier, religion, the word terminology, religion hijacked spirituality and separated it. But, so I'm not talking about religions right now when I talk about Jesus. I'm talking about God bringing Jesus here. And Jesus was here to help also raise humanity out of the false matrix. But Jesus is really our guide, okay? The story of Jesus is about ascension. So Jesus is who we follow. Jesus was our mentor. Jesus is who we follow out of the matrix. So we go through Jesus to get to God. So you hear those stories, you pray through Jesus to go to God. Well, that's where it comes from. So Jesus is the rainbow bridge. So the story of Jesus is humanity follows the story of Jesus out, because that's what God, that's why God sent Jesus here, was to be that guide for us. So when you hear people say you go through Jesus to get to God, well, yeah, you do, because you follow the story of Jesus out, and then you can connect with, with God. So I just want people to be aware of, um, you know, everything external around us. We have to use our discernment. And if you hear somebody talking about something or forcing something upon you, and you know it doesn't feel right or it doesn't sound right, that doesn't resonate with you, then it's probably not right. Okay. It's taken me 7 years to navigate through all this corruption. It's taken me 7 years to navigate through all these different, and trying to understand all these different religions, and trying to make sense of it all. Okay. And then I had to stop, and I just had to say, I'm just going to take everything. I'm going to look through all this, and I'm just going to take what resonates. So I'm going to take little pieces of things that resonate with me out of all of these things that are separate. And that's how I began to understand that no. It's been separated for a reason. It's been separated to distort us, to keep us dummied down, to keep us from seeing past the veil. It's all orchestrated. This virus, this computer virus, that was created by the devil or the bad or whatever, that came in to hijack God's world or planet or physical plane. I don't know if it's flat or round, but I do know that God did create this, and unfortunately it's being hijacked, and how it's doing that is through energy manipulation. So just know, light workers, that you have a very high calling, and that is to not only help raise humanity, but you have to do your own work here as well to navigate through all the corruption in this computer virus, this computer programming virus, I call it. So don't lose faith. Don't give up. That's one thing that's going to keep you going, is your faith. And I know that I've been saying in my past videos, and I've been, talking with quite a few people lately. And what came out was, for myself just recently, is I was writing something down, and for some reason I said, practice what you preach. And I'm like, what? Where did that come from? Because I don't want to sound, preachy at all to people, but that was the terminology that just came into my head. I said, practice what you preach. And I realized that I was speaking to many people about, you can't, you have to either live in faith or fear. You can't live in both. And it's true, you can't. So I found myself realizing that I still had some work to do. And I realized it had to do with my solar plexus. And that's really where the fear sits. So there was some last cleansing and purging that I had to do there. But it really made me recognize, Erica, are you really living just from faith? Because you still had that last bit of cleansing to do, but yet here you're speaking, you can only, you can't live in both. Well, really, I still was living in some fear, and I didn't really know where it was coming from because it was sitting in my aura. But, God showed me that it was still there. I was able to go through and purge that. And now I'm ready, and I'm just living through faith. Nothing, fear is an illusion. It's part of the programming. It's not real. So if you just stay in your faith, light workers, the faith will guide you. Your faith will guide you, okay? And that's going within, okay? We tend to look externally for things to answer everything that we need. But at the end of the day, it's all going to be within you already, okay? So, wow, this video went way past. I was only reaching for 10 minutes, but I'm already at 25 minutes. So I am going to end this now. Please reach out to me. All my information is below. You can email me at chakraanalyzer@gmail.com. Facebook me, or Instagram is on there as well. So again, please reach out. This is for my fellow light workers. I'm sending love and light to you all. Stay strong. You are very, very powerful. Okay, guys? I'll see you later. Bye.